Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. I'm going to show you this video of Whoopi Goldberg on The View making comments about black identity, and then I'm going to provide my commentary on the other side.
And my mother, my grandmother, my great-grandfolks, we busted ass to be here. Pardon me. I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry. I'm an American. Yeah. I'm not an African American. I'm not a chick American. I'm an American. I'm an American.
I've been here too long to not just hold American.
Since the 1700s, my people have been here. Okay, so I'm an American alongside of the Native Americans. That's the bottom line.
So this woman is saying that she's an American and she's not an African American. See, many of us are lost. We are lost as a people. We have been completely disconnected from our heritage. Every other people in this country, in this world, is taught to love who they are. They are taught to identify with their history. They are taught their history. They are taught to be proud of themselves. They are taught to be proud of their accomplishments as a people. They are taught to celebrate their culture and to commemorate the greatness of their ancestors. They are taught to love where they came from, whether they are English, whether they are Italian, whether they are German, whether they are Chinese or Korean or Arab. They're taught to have pride in their motherland, to respect their people. But many of us have been taught to hate ourselves. We have been taught to hate who we are, to hate our motherland, to hate our origin, to hate our essence, and to uplift the essence of others, to celebrate the essence of others. When you say that you are not an African American, you are cutting yourself off from your history. That's like someone cutting a tree away from its roots. Without roots, you have no foundation. You have no structure. You have no stability, no foundation at all. And that's how many of us are as a people. Our history here in America began in chains. Our history is greater than America. Our history predates slavery. And when you limit us to being some slaves, you negate a huge part of who we are as a people. You cut off your ties from the motherland. We know for a fact that most of us come from Africa. It's documented in records, historical records. There are artifacts of slave ships, of our voyage to this country, the Middle Passage. You can't know who you are without knowing your history, without knowing your origin. It's like we want to assimilate so bad into this country and into this white man's world that we want to forget who we are. And really, I'm not surprised that this is coming from Whoopi Goldberg. I'm not surprised. This is a woman who dates white men. This is a woman who defended a white man who wore blackface. So I'm not surprised at all by this. This woman, if you were to look at her and compare her to Africans on the continent, you would see a lot of similarities. If you look at black people here in America, you see the physical similarities between African Americans and Africans on the continent. You can see it in our hair texture, in our lips, in our nose, in our complexions. Africa is a part of us whether we like it or not. Africa is in us. Africa flows through our veins. It is our history. It's who we are. It's in our music. It's even in our ways of worship, whether we accept it or not. And even these so-called conscious black people, they don't even want to be associated with Africa. Nowadays, you have these myths that go along, that you hear about on YouTube, where they want to say that we're Native Americans and all that nonsense. That we didn't come from Africa, despite all the historical evidence, despite all the written records, all the artifacts proving that we came from Africa, proving the existence of the transatlantic slave trade. But that's how deep the psychosis is among our people. We hate ourselves so much that we want to deny Africa. We would rather be anything else other than African. That's why you have these silly Negroes running around saying that I'm part Indian, I'm part Cherokee, I'm part this, I'm part that, even though they look black. They want to claim everything other than Africa. Everything other. They would rather call themselves Asiatics. They would rather call themselves Moors. They would rather call themselves anything other than African. But that's the Negro mindset that our people have. And as long as we are fragmented as African people, we will remain powerless. We need to think as one. We need to have a Pan-Africanist perspective where we develop ties with our brothers and sisters on the continent and throughout the African diaspora, whether that's in South America, in the Caribbean, in North America, and worldwide. All these other people form unions. You have the European Union. You have all these other groups. You have the Arab League. And you even have an African Union. But we need to have a truly political, Pan-African political organization that advances the interests of all African people. And we need to have an African identity. We need to see the commonalities among African people and stop dividing ourselves up, trying to be a part of something that never accepted us in the first place. Trying to be a part of a country that looked at us as 3/5 of a human being. Trying to be a part of a country whose founders were slave owners. Part of a country that was built on the backs of our enslavement. What's wrong with us? What's wrong with us as a people? They always put these people that have no consciousness in positions where they receive a lot of worldwide attention. They always put up the buffoons and the idiots before the people. Idiots like Raven Simone, saying the most outlandish and ridiculous of things. And we wonder why people look at us as fools. So those are my thoughts. We are an African people, and it's time for us to start to think like that and be who we are, Africans.